Hi everybody, it's Dave, Blue Jacket 66, here for a video. Quick video, really excited about it. I've thought about showing this item for many years now, but to be honest with you, I have not got it into a presentable condition, actually framed, until just today. Went to Michael's and found a cheap little frame that it looks fantastic in. Now, boy, I sure am sorry that I missed the National this year. I've been going for years and years and years, and it's always a good time. And it's been better over the past several years, really because of the YouTube community. I've known people within the hobby for a long time, and whether they're auction house owners or just long-term vintage sellers who go back to really written periodicals. But with the YouTube community, it's really a lot more fun. I mean, you have someone to walk around with, someone to do something with afterwards, and just the whole collecting experience by itself. And so you all were there, and you know how it is. I'm glad that I'm part of a collecting community rather than an influencer or part of the community that's primarily interest is making videos and putting myself out there. That doesn't look like fun to me, and it's overall though, all the videos I've watched are really good. I don't subscribe to really any of the what you would call influencers or the people that seem to be popular, although not knowledgeable within the hobby. But it looked like just a great amount of fun. Watched it all week, all your fantastic pickups, and how proud you guys are of the cards you got, and it just looked like a fabulous time. I already know what the dates are for Chicago next year and plan on getting a hotel. Those Airbnbs look really great, but I'll probably be taking my son. Maybe the Airbnb scene's a little too crazy for him, and I'm not sure housing is around Rosemont. I think it'd just be probably far more convenient just to do a hotel, so I plan on booking that as soon as possible. So what's going on with this, with my thumbnail there, scarce premiums or cards and something that no one's ever seen before? Well, I'm going to show something I've had in my collection, I think maybe 12 years or so. And there's really only, I've seen two of them in 50 years, and I own one of them. I think there's more than that out there. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 known copies of this. And it's interesting, up until just relatively recently, people didn't know they existed, and when these surfaced, they weren't sure exactly what they were. But now we do know what it is, and it is ultimately cool. I think it's highly unlikely you've never heard of them, and I think it's almost certain that you've never seen this before. It's just a spectacular piece that I'll be happy to show you. I don't know if you've ever looked at the back of a 1949 Leaf baseball card, but if you look on the back, not only is there stats and bios, but there is, like many of the regional issues I like, and many issues in the vintage and pre-war era, there's giveaways. And this giveaway, if you look on the back, sure enough, if you bring in 10 wrappers of 49 Leaf baseball to your dealer, and boy, I really would like to know what that dealer is in 1949, whether it's a grocer or someone in a pharmacy or whatnot, but if you bring one of those in, you will get a 5.5 by 7.5 photo premium of one of the stars. And the one that I show you on my thumbnail, and that I'll show you here, is Christy Mathewson. And these are fantastic. They're relatively scarce. I think PSA's done a little over 100 of them or so. That doesn't mean that many's out there, but you really don't see them that often, and they're not extraordinarily priced. There's various players. I think there's 3 Ruth poses. There is Mathewson, McQuard. Who else? I think there's a Johnson, Grover, Cleaver, Alexander. I think there's 10 players. And what these were is in a box of 49 leaf baseball cards, a box of 24. On the bottom was one of these premiums. And I don't know how they were distributed. If you got to the bottom of the box, if the dealer or whoever would just give one. But I think they were supposed to be kept with the idea that if someone would come in with 10 wrappers, they would get one of these. I'm not sure how well collected they were, because the people they gave away at the time were past stars. They were not current stars that were current players in the 49 set. So I don't know how popular these were. Certainly they would be madly popular, among today's collectors, to get something that old of an old Hall of Famer. But I don't know how they were then. But this is the 1949 Leaf premium of Christy Mathewson. They are blank back. This one is, if you look at the condition of it, it's in really fantastic condition. But there's not a crease, but there's a little bend, I think, in the paper up here. But I would have no reason really to. Well, I don't know. Everything's better with or more valuable with grading, it seems. But it seems silly to. I've had that forever, and I don't see a reason to send it off. So that is one of the premiums that I want to show to talk about premiums, which were so popular in the 1930s. The Butterfingers in 1933, the 34, and I think it was 39 Gowdy premiums. So the 30s was a big time for premiums. But even before then, there were premiums. Now, when I think of box toppers and I think of lids, you may think of the Topps candy lids that were lids on top of candy. One of my favorite issues is the Dixie lids, which I think are really cool. Multiple players, on top of ice cream, essentially ice cream cups. Cool lids. But the lids and toppers that go way back are the 1912 Colgan's chips. And I hope you are familiar with these because they're quite affordable. There's many, many, many players that are non-Hall of Famers, and they're very affordable. The Hall of Famers can be pricey, but they are seriously cool. They look like this. They're just a round, maybe quarter size disc, paper disc that has a player on the front and some information on the back. And they came in tins. They were called Colgan's chips. And they came in these tins that had little chips of flavored peppermint gum chips in them. And within the little tin, there would be one of these players. What you may not realize is on the back, there's some interesting information. Now, they made three different of these Colgan's chips players. The E254 was Colgan's chips, and it has a back that really talks about the gum product and the chip. And then there was the E270 that look exactly like that, but on the back, they have a little different ad. And you may not have paid attention. The E270s actually say tin tops on them rather than chips on the back. It says tin tops, and they're rarer. But if you look at that back, it's really interesting. It says something like, if you bring in 25 tin the can tops, not the cards in it, just 25 of those and a 2-cent stamp, they will give you a photograph of the National League pennant champions. And no one ever knew what that meant. Because what was this photograph of pennant champions? So this is in 1912. So since then, no one really knew what they were talking about. Well, what they were talking about is something that I have that is insanely rare. And I'm very happy to show it to you. I think the best way is to kind of turn around the camera and take a look at this thing that I've recently framed up. I just went to Michael's and got this glass snap where it's just essentially two pieces of glass, and you can bind it together with this little thing that goes around the rim. I put some black paper in it, and I put the premium in there, and it shows really nicely. So this will probably be, I'm sure you haven't heard of this, but I'm certain you've never seen one before. This, my friends, is the 1912 Colgan's Chips Premium. 18 by 10 inches in size. Spectacular, highlighting the New York Baseball Club. John McGraw, coach. Christy Mathewson, Merkel, Wilbertson, Fletcher, whole bunch of Hall of Famers. It is an amazing piece and probably the rarest piece that I have in my collection. Let's take a look at it. It's fantastic. Now we are going to get some glare on this, so I'll try to zoom in and out. But here it is, a 1912 Colgan's Chips Premium. Only a couple known, and really they didn't know what the hell this was up until a couple years ago. And we'll show a closer look here. It's not in good condition. Specifically, there's damage around the outside. And at this point, whoever at some point was the original owner cut this part out where it says the New York Baseball Club Champions National League 1912. Someone cut it out and had mounted it below that. Because when I got this was mounted in a period frame that was framed in the early 1900s. And it was an old looking frame, and it was kind of cool because it was old looking, but it did not show the whole picture. Really, all that white border was gone on its ancient matting. And I got thinking about it, and I got so obsessed with, I thought that what was the possibility? This was framed up in probably somewhere between 1912 and probably 1915. What was the chances that maybe behind that frame there were more pre-war cards or Cracker Jack cards? So I took it out of the frame meticulously and just got it down to its bare paper, and now I've reframed it. So look at this. Compliments manufacturing of the Adams Pepsin Tutti Frutti gum. And as you can see here, maybe you can't, it lists the players. There's Mathewson. McGraw is to his right and to his left. It's McQuarrie, I think. Yeah. So you see DeVore, Fletcher, Baker, Robertson, Burns, Snodgrass, Merkel, Herzog, Hartley, Crandall. Just a fantastic team. Let's just look at this. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this image before. I know you haven't seen the premium, but I don't know if you've seen the image before. And again, here's where they had cut that out and mounted it down below. So I kind of rigged it back into place. Unbelievable piece. And it looks so good the way I've mounted it here. It looks really fantastic. The 1912 Colgan's Chip Premium. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed showing you. Thanks for watching.